The Second World War. In this video, we are going to learn about the causes of the Second World War and then the attack of Pearl Harbor and bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Then we will learn about the consequences of the Second World War. So, the Second World War was fought between 1939 to 1945. What are the causes of the Second World War? First cause was dissatisfaction over the Treaty of Versailles. The peace settlement at Paris imposed all the clauses on Germany, condemning it alone for the war. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 was very humiliating for Germany. The victorious power took away huge chunks of its territory, resources, and its colonies in East Africa and Southwest Africa. Germany also had to pay $33 billion as war indemnity to the Allies. Germany was forced to supply coal to Italy, Belgium, and France for 10 years. The German army was limited to 15,000 men and the air force was banned. When Hitler came to power, he started disobeying the provisions of the peace treaty and finally plunged into a series of conquests. Because, according to him, the Treaty of Versailles was very humiliating for Germany. Rise of fascism in Italy. Italy helped the Allies in the First World War with men and money, but they did not gain anything after the war was over. Suffered from post-war economic problems like price rise, poverty, unemployment, and hunger, etc. The existing democratic government of Giolitti could not solve these problems. And against these background, the fascists under Mussolini were allowed to form the government in Italy. Now, in Germany, Adolf Hitler came into the power, and in Italy, Mussolini came into the power. Italy joined the Rome-Berlin-Tokyo axis along with Germany and Japan. Actually, it was a three-party alliance. Rome is the capital of Italy, Berlin is the capital of Germany, and Tokyo is the capital of Japan. So, these three countries made an alliance. Italy attacked Abyssinia in Ethiopia and joined the Second World War. The rise of Nazism in Germany was also an important cause of Second World War. Hitler violated the clause of the Treaty of Versailles and increased the military strength of Germany. He remilitarized the Rhine line, captured Vienna, the capital of Austria. He wanted to get back Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia, as most of the inhabitants living there were Germans. The heads of four countries, Chamberlains from Britain, Daladier from France, Hitler from Germany, and Mussolini from Italy, met at Munich on 29 September 1938. It was decided that Sudetenland would be handed over to Hitler. Hitler's troops captured Sudetenland and later the rest of Czechoslovakia. The policy of appeasement. Appeasement meant to accept the demands of the aggressive power like Japan, Italy, and Germany, provided they were not too unreasonable. Britain and France followed the policy of appeasement because of certain reasons. They knew that the Treaty of Versailles was too harsh for the defeated power, mainly for Germany. They felt that Germany and Italy had genuine grievances. And also, both Britain and France wanted to avoid war as they themselves were busy with their internal problems. So, on one hand, they were neglecting this problem and they were silent. Finally, they were not prepared for war with powerful aggressor like Hitler. Both Britain and France did nothing when Germany remilitarized the Rhineland. They handed over Sudetenland to Hitler. This policy of appeasement only increased the demands of Hitler. And the Japanese invasion of China in 1931 was also one of the key reasons. China appealed to the League of Nations for declaring sanctions against Japan. But Britain and France did not pay any heed to the appeal. Japan occupied Manchuria in spite of the League's opposition and set up a government there. Actually, Manchuria was under Chinese control. But Japan attacked and took control of Manchuria and set up a government there. Japan joined the Rome-Berlin-Tokyo axis to continue with its policy of expansion. Actually, Japan was a part of three-party alliance of Japan, Germany, and Italy. In 1933, Japan left the League of Nations. Also, the failure of League of Nations was an important reason. The League of Nations was created to maintain international peace and to prevent any future war after the First World War. The League of Nations was established in 1920 with the hope to maintain international peace, that it would prevent next World War, but it failed. The League became ineffective against the powerful aggression. The member states were not eager to apply economic sanctions as it affected their economy too. The League's authority was ignored when Italy occupied Ethiopia and Japan captured Manchuria. Different countries of Europe lost faith in the League of Nations as it failed to maintain international peace, and eventually the Second World War started. Hitler's invasion of Poland. This was the immediate cause of Second World War. Hitler demanded the city port of Danzig because it was inhabited by the Germans majorly. Besides, by occupying Danzig, he could connect East Prussia with Germany. So Germany signed a non-aggression pact with Russia in August 1939. Poland was accused of committing atrocities against the Germans living there. On 1st of September 1939, Hitler's troops marched into Poland. On 3rd of September, Britain and France declared war against Germany. In this way, the Second World War was started. The attack on Pearl Harbor. So on 7th of December 1941, Japan attacked the American naval base of Pearl Harbor in the Hawaiian island. As you can see in the map, there is Hawaiian Island. And on this Hawaiian island, there is a naval base called Pearl Harbor, belong to the United States of America. But on 7th of December 1941, 353 Japanese aircraft came undetected at Pearl Harbor, and within 2 hours, they destroyed 5 battleships, 350 aircrafts, and killed 3,700 men. This infuriated America. The United States declared war on Japan and other Axis powers. Also, United States joined the Second World War. Bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On 6th of August 1945, the Americans dropped an atom bomb on Hiroshima, a Japanese city, killing about 84,000 people and burying thousands slowly dying of radiation poisoning. And on 9th of August 1945, they dropped one more atom bomb on Nagasaki, which killed another 40,000 people. Japan surrendered to the Allies. It was not in the position to continue the Second World War. Though many historians remark that the bombings were not needed as the Japanese government already had sent peace feelers in July via Russia, and Japan was in the process to surrender or to end the war. But US dropped 2 atom bombs in the city of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on 6th and 9th August respectively in 1945. What are the consequences of the Second World War? First of all, defeat of the Axis power. The Second World War led to the overthrow of the fascist and Nazi dictatorship. Germany, Italy, and Japan surrendered to the Allies. The Allies were victorious. The Allies occupied Germany and it was divided into 4 zones: American zone, British zone, French zone, and Russian zone. The Germany was divided into 4 parts. Also, formation of the United Nations. When the Second World War ended in 1945, people wanted a peaceful world devoid of any devastating war like these First and Second World Wars. Thus, the United Nations emerged as a world peacekeeping body on 24th October 1945. And on this day, we celebrate United Nations Day every year. India was one of the founding members of this organization. Any peace-loving country ready to obey the UN Charter can be the member of United Nations organization. Currently, 193 members are in the United Nations. Cold War. After the Second World War, the traditional colonial power of Europe like England, France, Italy, Germany lost their importance in the world. It was a dusk of European hegemony in the world. Now, 2 superpowers emerged in the international politics, namely America, that was capitalist, and Russia, that was communist. There had been ideological differences, mutual suspicion, hatred, and tension between them, but this tension did not take the form of an open armed clash between these superpowers. This is known as the politics of Cold War. This was war of words. There had been uneasy peace. So you can say that Cold War is an extreme form of political unfriendliness between the American bloc and Russian bloc. American bloc can be termed as Western bloc and the Russian bloc can be termed as Eastern bloc. It was neither a condition of peace nor a condition of war. Each bloc tried to form military alliance with different countries of the world, as for example, NATO, which was established in 1949. You can expand NATO with North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was formed between US and many West European countries. Whereas the Soviet Union and the socialist countries of East Europe formed the Warsaw Pact in 1955. The Cold War led to various proxy wars as well, like Korean War, Cuban Missile Crisis, Vietnam War, Congo War, etc. The Russian leader Mikhail Gorbachev liberal policies of glasnost and perestroika contributed to a large extent to relieve the world of the Cold War tension. Glasnost actually was for the political openness, and the perestroika was for the economic restructuring. And these policies led to the end of the tensions of Cold War. And eventually, when in 1991 the Soviet Union dissolved or disintegrated, the Cold War formally ended. So that's it in this lesson. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.